Hey beautiful people of the internet, my name is Ryan and welcome to our third Short Story Saturday. We are getting rolling with these things and I am having fun with them. I'll put a link to the playlist of Short Story Saturdays down below in the description. Speaking of the description, today's video is going to be about Junot Diaz's story, How to Date a Brown Girl, Black Girl, White Girl, or Halfie, and I'll put a link both to the story down below and also to a YouTube video of him actually reading the story. It's super quick and if you haven't read it already, go do that because this video is going to include spoilers. Okay, let's get rolling. What is special about this short story and what does it say about short stories in general? As you may have been able to tell from the freaking title of the story, this is going to be a how-to instruction manual kind of story. The very first sentence says a lot about what this story is going to be like. Wait for your brother and your mother to leave the apartment. So right away we have two super important things to talk about. Obviously that sentence does the instruction manual thing because it's a command to the reader, but also we should notice that the second person, the you, is used in this story. But that's a whole bunch of technical crap that'll come back later. Let's talk about what the story is actually about. Well, it's a little bit... You're a bastard, but I love you. Is it Cody or Zach? So that's Zach, I take it. You're making me blush. Oh, that was beautiful, and that's definitely going in the video. How to Date a Brown Girl was published in Junot Diaz's collection of short stories called Drown in 1995, and it features a character named Junior, who is a Dominican American living in New Jersey. And Junior's problem is, at least on the surface, twofold. One is that he wants to date all of these girls, and he wants to show them a good time. And two is that he comes from a kind of living situation and a family situation and a neighborhood situation that isn't great for showing off. And thus the instruction part of the manual. If you're going to date a brown girl or a different type of girl, here is what you're gonna do. It's a hilarious story as well as a poignant one. It takes a close look at racial and class divisions as well as just being deeply human like Junot Diaz is really good at. But the most important thing in this story, at least in my opinion, has to do with the form. When you title a story How to Blank, the reader brings a lot of specific expectations to the page. So let's talk about the characteristics of an instruction manual and also the brilliant, in my opinion, ways that Junot Diaz cuts them down or subverts them. First, you expect a how-to guide to be full of explanation, to explain everything to you. However, this story does not do that. In the first paragraph, or two paragraphs alone, there are like 3 or 4 place names that Junot Diaz doesn't go into explaining. He assumes that you, the reader, are gonna have to do some work, that not everything is going to be given to you. Like, for instance, in the sentence, if she's not from around the way, Wendy's will do. He's talking about dinner here, and he's making you, the reader, put together the connections of, wait, is Wendy's a step below the other steps that we took? How does this hierarchy work? Second, an instruction manual should have one outcome because you're being instructed to do something, except for the fact that this entire story has like 6 or 7 or 10 different outcomes. Third, an instruction manual should be universal. It should be a document that you can hand from person to person and still get the same instructions. Except very obviously this story is very specific about Junior and his specific neighborhood and his specific dilemma with the different kinds of girls that he can bring to his neighborhood. Finally, and this is the key to the entire story in my opinion at least, this is the one thing that Junot Diaz does that in my opinion makes this story worth reading and rereading and rereading and teaching. An instruction manual should be knowledgeable. It should be written by an expert in the field. You want to hear from somebody who has it figured out. You're going to an instruction manual to seek the experience of a higher power, of someone who knows what they're talking about. But the problem with this short story is that Junior is right in the middle of figuring this stuff out. He doesn't have any answers. In fact, what he has is just a long list of struggles, and yet this story would not be the same if it wasn't a how-to guide. That, I think, is the line that Diaz is walking. The theme of the story, God, I hate that word, but the theme of the story is confusion and not knowing what to do and how to walk yourself through this very confusing system of the neighborhoods and all of these different ways that the world is trying to drag you down. Walking the line between that and the super knowledgeable, super, full of explanation and one solution oriented form of a how-to guide. That's how he takes the content and the form and puts them at odds with each other. I think sometimes form is a thing that we either push to the side or we pay some quick lip service to it when we're talking about a story or a novel. But in this case, and in the case of a lot of short stories, I believe, The form is super central to getting to that theme or the aboutness of what the story is doing. And one of the places that I think this is most obvious is in Junot Diaz's story, How to Date a Brown Girl, Black Girl, White Girl, or Halfie. And that is all that I have for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the story. If you did, I would love to hear down below what you thought about it, or if you've read some other Junot Diaz. I've read some of his other stories, although regrettably I own none of his books and I've finished none of his books. Cue the embarrassment. I should also announce that next Saturday, the story that we will be reading is Sweat by Zora Neale Hurston. This is a story that's taught pretty often in classes, and I'm excited to see if any of you guys have read it. I absolutely love it. I will put a link to that down in the description below as well. I feel like in these videos I'm just pointing to the description all of the time. Anyways, I will see you guys on Monday with a brand new video as well, and then again next Saturday. I hope that your weekend is a good one, and I will see you guys soon. Best wishes! Hey, beautiful people of the... Oh! Hey, beautiful people of the internet, my name is Ryan, and today's Short Story Saturday video is going to be on A Good Man is Hard to Find by Flannery O'Connor. Tell her that you love her hair, that you love her skin, her lips, because, in truth, you love them more than you love your own. She'll say, I like Spanish guys, and even though you've never been to Spain, say, I like you. You'll sound smooth.